Today, we're going on an incredible archaeological journey. We're heading back in time to uncover the secrets of a powerful, mysterious, and ancient kingdom that was booming in southern Africa almost 1,000 years ago. This is the story of Mapungubwe. You know, sometimes it just takes one single object to completely change everything we think we know about the past. And at the heart of this entire story is a question that will guide us. How on earth did one small, beautifully made golden rhino manage to rewrite the history books? Well, let's find out. So to really understand Mapungubwe, you first have to understand what made it all possible. We're going to start our expedition by looking at the very foundation of its incredible wealth and power, gold. Gold. It was the absolute engine of Mapungubwe. I mean, this was the resource that fueled their entire economy, making the kingdom unbelievably rich and a major power in the region. But, you know, there's a sad side to this story. All that wealth also attracted treasure hunters, and tragically, many priceless golden artifacts were stolen over the years before archaeologists ever got a chance to see them. Now, let's talk about scale. We think the population was somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people. That might not sound like a huge city today, but back then, this was a game changer. This wasn't just some small settlement. It was southern Africa's very first major town, a real bustling urban center. And the people of Mapungubwe weren't just numerous, they were seriously skilled. I mean, they were masters of metalworking, able to smelt iron for tools and weapons, and of course, work with gold for trade and beautiful jewelry. On top of that, they were expert potters, making all kinds of amazing ceramics. Make no mistake, this was a technologically advanced society. All right, our journey now takes us to the most important spot in the entire kingdom, a place of immense power and respect. We're talking about the sacred hill of Mapungubwe. Now, this wasn't just any old hill. For the people of Mapungubwe, this place was everything. It was the most sacred spot on earth because they believed it was the home of their ancestral spirits. It was their literal connection between the living and the dead, the spiritual center of their whole universe. And you couldn't just casually stroll up there. Oh no. Getting to the top involved some very strict and honestly fascinating rituals. You had to follow two sacred rules. First, you had to walk up backwards, never facing the top directly. And second, you were only allowed to take a quick glance over your left shoulder. That just shows you the deep respect and awe this place commanded. So who got to live at the very top of the sacred place? The king. He lived in a stone-walled palace, totally separated from everyone else. Now, this was a radical idea for the time, the very first time in southern Africa that a leader lived so isolated from their people. And he wasn't just a political leader, he was also the rainmaker, the person who connected the people to their god, a powerful being known as Muari. So, we've got a sacred hill and a secluded king. What does that tell us about the society itself? Well, let's put on our archaeologist hats for a minute and dig into the evidence to see what daily life was really like. And the evidence is crystal clear. Mapungubwe was a class-based society. You had the elite, the king and the nobility, living up on the sacred hill. And then you had the common people, living their lives down below, at the foot of the hill. So how do we know this for sure? Well, archaeologists are basically detectives of the past, and they found three huge clues. First, where they lived, which we just covered. Second, what they ate. By studying ancient trash heaps, they figured out that the elite ate much better food than the commoners. And third, and this is a big one, how they were buried. A completely separate royal cemetery was discovered right on the hill, and the things they found were just breathtaking. In one grave, archaeologists found a high-status woman buried in a seated position. And get this, she was covered in over 100 gold bracelets and thousands upon thousands of tiny gold beads. In another grave, they found a man buried with a heavy gold necklace and other incredible things, including a wooden crocodile that was wrapped entirely in gold foil. The sheer amount of gold buried with these people points to just how much wealth and status they had. And this brings us right back to our central mystery. The third major royal grave had a man, most likely a king, who was buried with a golden scepter, a golden bowl, and this, the famous golden rhino. This single artifact became the ultimate symbol of Mapungubwe's power and sophisticated artistry. Now, all this wealth and power wasn't just an internal thing. It's time to zoom out and see how Mapungubwe wasn't some isolated kingdom, but was actually a crucial player in a huge international trading network. Yeah, forget any idea you have of an isolated Africa back in those days. Mapungubwe was connected to the whole world. We have archaeological evidence showing they traded with people as far away as Europe, North Africa, and even all the way across the Indian Ocean to Asia, with powers like China and India.
So, what were they trading? Well, they exported their valuable natural resources, gold, ivory, copper, iron, salt, and animal hides. And in return, they imported luxury goods they couldn't make themselves, like beautiful glass beads, fine jewelry, and fancy cloth from faraway lands. The kingdom eventually declined, but its story didn't end there. In our final section, let's bring the story into the modern day and explore the powerful and lasting legacy of this incredible civilization. It is so important to understand that everything we've talked about today, every single fact, comes from the patient work of archaeologists. No written records from the people of Mapungubwe have ever been found. No oral stories survived. Archaeology is literally our only window into their lost world. Today, the name Mapungubwe stands for the absolute pinnacle of achievement. The highest national honor that can be given to a citizen by the President of South Africa is called the Order of Mapungubwe. It's awarded for excellence and exceptional service to the nation. And who was the very first person to receive the highest class of this honor, the Platinum Order? None other than Nelson Mandela. This creates such a powerful link between South Africa's ancient golden age and its modern democratic one. The rest of the world has recognized its importance too. In 2003, the entire Mapungubwe cultural landscape was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means it's recognized as a place of outstanding, universal value to all of humanity. From a little golden rhino to a presidential honor, the story of Mapungubwe shows how treasures from the past can really redefine our present. It leaves us with one last exciting thought. If a kingdom this magnificent could be lost to time and then rediscovered, what other incredible stories are still buried, just waiting to be unearthed right beneath our feet?